Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is November 5th. We are almost at the end of the year, and today is a classic robot and nonsense. Also, I realized I didn't do a Facebook Marketplace find this week because it's all Halloween costumes right now.
Were there not some people tweeting those at us?
Someone did tweet a couple of them. I didn't get a chance to look. Also, I didn't want to look at like their location because it's probably nearby them, right?
No, that's true.
And I was like, oh.
Twitter is not the way to communicate with us.
Yeah.
I don't know what the way is because I avoid most of it, to be honest with you.
Forum's not bad.
YouTube comments, I do read those. Well, let's talk about some robots, and let's talk about McDonald's. McDonald's has been talking about this for a long time. And I think the local McDonald's, I saw they dug up everything. Did you notice that?
The one by the interstate?
No, the one by the Kroger.
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
They dug up that entire parking lot, and then it looked like there was new drive-thru lanes. So I think they might have been prepping for this.
Oh.
McDonald's has entered a strategic partnership with IBM to automate the drive-thru lanes. IBM thinks they can do it. We'll see. We'll see if they're able to deal with the Eastern Kentucky accent.
No, they almost certainly won't be able to. I would think, didn't they talk about wanting to just put screens in for a long time? They do that in the lobby, but I don't think they've done it in the...
Touch screens for the drive-thru?
I've heard that.
It won't work unless they can move up and down.
Oh, we need to do a special follow-up on Flippy also, because White Castle is deploying them like everywhere now, and White Castle has done really well with Flippy.
So this has to do with AI that listens to your voice and parses it and helps the people taking the orders get the order right. They have run a limited trial in some places, and they claim that it's fantastic.
Where was it? There was somewhere I went through the drive-thru, and the person that I was with, we ordered on a phone, and then we got to the window, and it was like, I ordered online. Oh, I think it was... No, I don't remember where it was. But it was crazy because we were in line, and then we got to the speaker, and it was like, we already ordered online, we're just driving through to pick up. And they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. And they had it was all ready to go immediately, and it was great and delicious.
I know McDonald's has it's like a pull-in spot where it's like online order pickup. I didn't know you could go through the drive-thru to do that.
Well, not every place has that, though. So what's the moral of the story? Just that you liked it?
Yeah, because it was a complicated order, and it was basically just a pickup. It was great.
Yeah, instead of having to relay the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great as long as that app's not on your phone, right?
Right.
You're going to put that app on your phone?
No.
Exactly.
But if the app, if they had a website, or I could trust that the app was actually properly sandboxed, I would run the app.
You're going to... Oh, so you're talking about the OS doing that, not McDonald's.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Maybe that.
Virtual machines are not that hard on a phone. I mean, come on. But yeah, no one will do it because then they can't mine the analytics.
And sell it to McDonald's.
Pine phone, save me.
Well, Jeff Bezos is also not going to offer you a phone that protects your privacy. If he ever offers you a phone, it will have Alexa in it. And I bet Alexa will also be pre-installed on this.
Jeff Bezos' Blue Origin wants to build a space tourism station nearly as big as the ISS. Brought to you by Carl's Jr.
Alexa's on the space station. I'm sorry, I can't do that.
Yep. That's terrifying. And that probably is what's going to happen. Now, remember that China is also planning a private space station. No, that's state-run space station. But we do have another private space station from another billionaire that is they're more in concert with NASA, I think. NASA wants to do the non-denominational hub that you can attach your corporate pods to.
Like a space station in Empyrean. And it's all the aliens hanging out, and you can do commerce there.
I hope the trading system works better than it did in Empyrean.
Yeah, Empyrean. We should revisit that sometime. I wonder if it's better than it used to be.
It's been about a year since we played it. And, like I said, Alexa is going to be on the space station. You wait and see. Probably Alexa will be in every surface in the space station, just inherently.
Just listening all the time.
Here on Earth, you can avoid it to some extent, but maybe not at every stage of your life.
Amazon has brought Alexa to hospitals and senior living centers.
Yikes.
Do you think old people would kind of do that reflexive? Would they understand that?
Oh,
or would they enjoy it, you think?
I got my parents a Fire TV, and them trying to navigate things on their own with the buttons, never going to happen. Not at this stage. But they can talk to Alexa, and they can actually do things.
Huh.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm imagining like my Oma. My Oma's almost 90, and I can't imagine her talking to a machine like that, but she might.
Well, they point out that it's tougher and tougher in the modern world for seniors in these centers to deal with phones.
Yeah.
Smartphones, right? So Alexa, one of the most popular things they were doing here was like, hey, Alexa, call my daughter. And Alexa just does it. And the daughter's like, Mom, you have to stop doing this.
My Oma, so like, I don't ever check Facebook that often, but she'll call me on there exclusively. And I'm like,
she doesn't understand.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't use the Facebook Messenger stuff. But she's like, oh no, I'll video call you on that. I'm like, just call me on the regular phone.
Yeah. So if she ever goes to assisted living, expect that to increase.
Yeah.
And Alexa is the big winner. The number one assistant. Number one in customer satisfaction? No. Number one in efficiency?
No.
Not even close.
Alexa's going to collect more information about you than any other smart assistant. They compared Google Assistant, Apple's Siri, Samsung's Bixby, and Microsoft Cortana. Only Bixby collected as much information, which is literally everything.
God, I hate Bixby.
Well, that's data collected about you. What about a bigger list of data collected about you?
Oh, no. Look at that. It still collects just about everything.
What about your contacts?
Oh, yes. We need to know who all that is as well.
Yeah.
There's no winners on this chart, huh?
How about your files and activity? It just keeps going. Yeah, so Alexa is horrible. And she watches. She doesn't forget. Krista, you alluded to this earlier, the autocorrect. Now, I remember seeing a meme post a long, long time ago where it's all misspelled words, but you don't notice till you get to the end and it tells you that it's all misspelled words because it's crafted in a way that it knows your brain is going to correct it perfectly. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah.
It's amazing. That's exactly what they figured out here. But how do you study that? How do you figure it out?
Your brain uses autocorrect to decipher language, and an AI just helped us prove it, a new study says. So they were looking at how, in order to decipher meaning, an AI was going to kind of predict the next word. And so they looked for clues of human beings sort of preemptively predicting the next word as they read them, and they found that the clues were there. So that's a pretty interesting parallel that wasn't explicitly designed in the system for how human brains read and process language the way that these language recognition AIs are reading and processing language.
That is exactly how those AIs do it. GPT and natural language processing, stuff like that, they always look for other words for contextual clues. And it totally changes. If you tell it, hey, look at 2 words for context versus look at 4 words for context, completely changes what it thinks it is.
Yeah.
Very impressive. What do you think? Xpeng? Xpeng?
Oh.
I don't know.
Xpeng?
So that sounds a little bit like Jinping, which people say we're saying wrong. That should be Shimping or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, flying cars.
Chinese EV maker Xpeng touts flying car. They can operate on roads. Plans for 2024 rollout.
That's like Latinx. You have to pronounce the X. Latinx. There it is. That's not a real thing. That's a mock-up.
I feel like you can't roll it out that quickly because you're also going to have to develop traffic laws to deal with the new dimension that your cars can now go in.
Well, I think the cost will probably control that at first.
Right.
Not very many people have these. So the way it works is those arms are movable, and I think the propellers can also fold back on themselves. And so that all gets tucked back into the car until you need it.
That train wouldn't have stopped me earlier if I had that.
I could just fly over the train.
I don't think you'd have enough room to unfurl that on most city streets. Was there any traffic in the other lane?
Yeah, there was. I just and then fly away. See ya, sucker.
I would say that has to be probably like a really low weight material in the entire car. So those things would probably just smash up completely.
Also seems like if you had a motor failure, it would be fatal.
They did say that the car came with parachutes. I didn't know if that, I got the impression maybe the car itself has a parachute system, or maybe it's just the people. I don't know.
Oh, like GTA when you have the parachutes on the cars.
That would still cause quite a bit of damage.
Yeah.
If a car parachuted into your house.
Yeah.
Thiel or Thiel?
I think it's Thiel.
Thiel?
Oh, I thought it was Thiel. I don't actually know.
Peter Thiel said maybe the most tone-deaf, ironic thing that's ever been uttered in American media.
Peter Thiel thinks people should be concerned about surveillance AI. I think the article writer knew a little bit about that because he said Palantir's Peter Thiel. Palantir is, of course, the AI surveillance company.
Also, he's an investor in Clearview.
Of
course he is.
Is there a competitor that he's worried about that he's trying to get ahead of, you think?
Well, he's talking about artificial general intelligence, which we're not even, I mean, we're so far away from that.
Yeah.
Why is he even talking about that? I think what he's trying to do is he's trying to focus the attention on something that isn't even a real thing yet.
We don't need to be worried about the Chinese AI that can figure out who you are based on the way that you walk. What we need to worry about is the childlike wonder artificial intelligence as seen in 2006's hit movie Artificial Intelligence.
Although he is actually, I got that wrong. He's saying the reverse, actually. He's saying that we shouldn't worry about general intelligence. We should only worry about surveillance. So that makes me wonder, is he about to launch a general intelligence company?
Probably not. Maybe. Probably not.
But yeah, I mean, he could go along, if he's worried about this, he could go a long way in slowing it down by destroying those companies.
That would cost him money.
What a monster. I don't recognize any of these names or places. I'm sorry.
I didn't know.
I'm sorry to the Indian viewers. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I do understand
engagement challenge
that this is amazing use of artificial intelligence created video like a deep fake, but not for porn.
Diwali celebration. Cadbury's initiative with Shah Rukh Khan goes viral and the Twitterati react.
What a terrible headline.
Yeah.
So there he is, and you can actually, if you're a local place, you can have your own commercial starring this man who is a massive, massive celebrity. But he won't actually be in your commercial.
Yay for AI tools.
I hope he's getting paid well for that.
He's a major Bollywood star, so I think he's already getting paid quite a bit, yeah.
It's kind of like they did Subservient Chicken, but it's actually kind of like a nice thing.
Well, they are selling sugar, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, probably not great for the Indian people. There's a lot of uncanny valley here, don't you think?
This is Lal from Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. It does look a lot like her, doesn't it? Well, that's probably, they had to use that as the starting point. Yeah. Except that was a real woman.
Yeah, it was a real actress. Yeah.
How does she feel right now? Is she alive?
I'm sure she is.
Ida? Is that how you pronounce that? Ada?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ida? Anyway, this is Ida. She's a robot, and she's an artist robot. But even when you're an artist robot, socio-political conflict enters into your career.
Egypt detains artist robot Ida before historic pyramid show. They got her back literally right before the show went on. Customs had a problem. She contained cellular radio modems, and they thought the artist could communicate with heads of state, or she was some kind of a robotic spy or something. They also didn't like how high resolution her cameras were in her eyes.
These are the same people that blocked the statue of David because of the pee-pee. It's they got some great shots of her and her robotic arms. Unfortunately, we're paywalled.
Yeah.
I would recommend you go check this out because her robotic arms make it even more surreal.
Yeah,
because they're not at all human-like.
Yeah,
they're like these big, monstrous pinchers.
She's like the Edward Scissorhands
of art making.
And she does abstract art. It's not even technically impressive to me. I don't know. Maybe Krista would have a different idea about it.
That was one of the gags in Futurama. Is like Bender is like, I'm going to be a painter or something, and when he goes to paint, it comes out like an inkjet printer. It's just, I thought it was funny.
It was funny. I mean, it wasn't laugh out loud. Krista, I know that you are especially angry about the fact that large corporations are vacuuming up houses.
Yeah, that makes me mad because I have a lot of friends who are looking right now.
And this story has to make you feel pretty good because it turns out that AI might not be the expert property flippers that we thought they were.
Zillow's zeal to outbid for homes backfires in flipping fumble. Whoever edited this article and made that headline, just A+. Good job.
So we all knew that Zillow was buying up houses, but how were they choosing those houses? Well, there was an algorithm.
The algorithm got it wrong.
Yeah, the Zestimate, literally the personification of the Zestimate. Well, it turns out now in October, as the housing market is cooling down, they're probably, because of the backlog of how many they bought, unless the market turns around pretty soon, and because of the labor shortage, they can't get anybody to do the work to flip the house.
The cost estimates for what it would take to repair the houses to flip them are way low.
But they can't just hold on to them, right? So they're looking to lose, on average, around 6% on every one of these houses, unless the market turns around.
Sounds like free money to me.
But I mean, this is pretty normal for the real estate market. It always goes a little cold during these months because no one wants to move during the holidays.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple properties around here for sale where somebody has obviously bought something to flip it, and they're like, I'm going to sell this for this much. And it's like, oh, no.
No, you're not.
No.
Unless that inflation kicks in again.
Well, we'll know in like 6 months. Although, did you see they came out with one of the indicators? You know how they have got the core consumer price index and then like the everything
nonsense.
Inflated price index? Well, one of the things they actually use in core moved like double what they estimated. Like the one that's supposed to be like the one that's nonsense on purpose. One of the key indicators moved twice as much as they would expect, which means that it's actually just utterly bananas.
Oh, it's just the supply chain. Saki will explain that to you. That's just, we're so prosperous.
Don't worry about buying food.
It's Friday. Was anybody able to buy Alder Lake? Were there massive supply chain issues?
Are a lot of people lining up for that?
I don't know.
That'll be in the future.
Well, Kim Jong Un is a polarizing figure, and he gets a lot of flack, but we do pay a lot of attention to him, especially our alphabet services, because if he says the wrong word, could be World War III, which is why his health and appearance are under great scrutiny.
Slimmer Kim Jong Un is not a body double, a spy agency says, after an AI analysis of image. They borrowed the Chinese walking analysis software, and it definitely said that's really him. He just lost a bunch of weight.
He has lost a lot of weight. He's much thinner.
Look how big his pants are. Did he not get new pants?
Maybe he thinks that's the style. They kind of did the oversized suit thing.
The article doesn't mention it, but he also put out a proclamation yesterday, which was, please eat less.
Yeah, I think till 2024. Was it 2024?
2025.
Do you think, because, they've known this was coming for a while.
Yeah.
Do you think somebody was like, listen, we're going to have to tell people to stop eating, and that is going to be a lot easier to swallow if you're not massively fat. Do you think maybe drop a couple?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Seems like he could, trade some nuclear weapons for a lot of food.
Well, they used to do that.
Yeah.
They used to trade us a guarantee that they weren't going to attack us for food. But I think a lot of him maintaining his power at home has to do with him rattling that saber. So he's in a tough spot right there.
My understanding, too, is that North Korea is fairly mountainous, so it's not good farmland. So that's another thing. They can't produce it themselves easily.
Yeah, terrible place. Terrible place to be for a lot of reasons. Cold, rocky, pretty terrible. Have you guys watched Dune yet?
Nope. I keep meaning to.
Me too. I kind of feel like a resistance to it, and I don't know why.
I was reading the forum because I don't care about spoilers. Go to forum.level1text.
I don't want any spoilers.
Well, I'm not going to give a spoiler, but it seems a little polarizing. It's like 50-50 opinion.
It ends on a cliffhanger, and I'll just wait for the next.
Turns out there's only going to be one more, though, right?
Well, I don't know.
I thought there were going to be 3. They've only said there's going to be one more because they only greenlit one more.
Oh, that's true.
To finish it. How did it make any money?
I think it made pretty good money. That's why it got greenlit, the second one.
Well, anyway, the guy that wrote it years ago, because obviously things have been weird and he wasn't able to make the movie in time. And we learn a specific conceit that he has. It's very interesting.
The Dune screenplay was written in MS-DOS. This Oscar-winning screenwriter of Dune wrote an MS-DOS program that can only hold 40 pages in memory.
Did those old programs, did they even have shift highlighting and stuff?
No, WordPerfect did, but WordPerfect was the odd duck.
That doesn't look like WordPerfect to me.
No.
That's a stupid thing to do.
It doesn't even look like 80 by 25 text, though. That looks higher resolution than 80 by 25.
What if he's emulating it just to do that?
No, he said it was Windows XP.
I wonder too, like, how does that translate to a printed page? Because there's like some sort of rule with screenwriting where like one page equals a certain amount of screen time. I wonder if that was part of the reason it was like, oh, this was a lot more screen time than we initially thought.
Nah, that's just word count.
He said that the 40-page limitation helps him be succinct, though, which is good.
How about that keyboard?
It's a Model M.
Do you
He's
think that's the
rocking the
original
classic
one?
desktop.
Is he nerding out getting the Model M, or did you just have it from the old times?
I don't know. He might just like the way that it types without realizing that, that's the Cadillac of keyboards.
That's stupid.
Cadillac's not the Cadillac of Cadillacs anymore either.
And finally, oh no, this is not the last story, is it?
Oh, there's a bunch more. I also thought it was the last.
A lot more. Memes. We learned that memes are powerful. Not only can they change the world around you and, modify a presidential election, perhaps, but they can help us get through the toughest of times.
Memes about the thing that we've endured for the last couple of years helped us cope with life in the thing that we've endured for the last couple of years. A new study has found, and it's like, oh, they've got Bernie. That is kind of an iconic photo. I wonder if they would have memed the National Geographic cover with the Afghani girl that had the piercing blue eyes or whatever that was.
What's the meme?
I don't know. I mean, but like that was like a striking photo. It seems like every striking photo gets memed today.
I don't think that one was memed at the time.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean,
This was more about, feeling miserable. So what they did is they took people, they broke it down. It was a random sample, and mostly uneducated, 60% uneducated. They showed them various pictures, and then they measured things. And when they showed them things related to the pandemic, they actually felt a little bit better. Maybe because they realized that everybody's experiencing it the same as them. It's like, oh, I had that thought.
Makes us relate.
Skyrim IRL, I don't know if that is the name of this person or because he looks kind of like the Skyrim guy in the beginning.
I know who this is. I don't have TikTok, but I've seen his skits on YouTube, and he basically he's really good at mimicking the weird, unnatural movements of the Skyrim NPCs, and then they have him do like black.
Oh, was he the guy that got stuck on a table?
Yeah, and he's like, it's fancy seeing you here. Need something? And like, he's really good at doing the walk. This is kind of a terrifying story to read about him.
Well, he was really good at those things. I don't think he'll be doing them anymore.
He's been arrested for the murder of his wife, and could face the death penalty.
Ugh.
No! First it was Hans Reiser, and now it's this guy. Oh, no.
I mean, I don't know anything about this guy. He made some funny videos, but you just don't expect to hear that about someone you've seen somewhere.
Well, I can tell you one fact about him. He's a murderer.
Yeah.
He's an alleged murderer, but the evidence is pretty compelling.
So, won't be seeing him anymore. Treasure those Skyrim IRL videos. They're done for. And this is a terrifying expose on how little people understand about their children or interact with them or even just take basic care and feeding. It's ridiculous, but it also shows you that you can learn to do almost anything. Like this big wave of people quitting their jobs and doing something else. You can teach yourself anything with YouTube.
17-year-old Kerala girl delivers baby with help from YouTube videos. So, like, removing the placenta and cutting the umbilical cord. And
looks like the baby's breech. You want to reach in there and scoot him around.
It was, it's kind of a dark and depressing story, though, because she had this baby, and it's from a guy that was older. He was like 21. And so the police have arrested somebody, and she was trying to keep the baby secret from her family, but she got an infection. That's why she had to go to the hospital. That's why they found out. The baby's fine. The mom's going to be fine. Just kind of dark.
But think about this. For the entire pregnancy, she hid in her room.
Yeah.
Her father had a weird work schedule, and her mother was, I guess, just tuned out. And she was like, oh, I'm just in my room on my phone. For 9 months?
Yeah.
Then she had the baby alone in her room and kept that quiet. You think she was just like biting on the stick or something?
Yeah.
And then for a couple of days, it was just her and the baby in the room.
Yeah.
Where was the baby pooping?
She's probably just managing it
Yeah,
somehow.
maybe she had like cloth diapers. I don't know.
Where'd she get diapers? Because nobody knew she was pregnant.
Yeah,
Who
maybe
might
she
have
had
made
her own
them?
money. Yeah, you could make them yourself. But you still, here's the thing, like with cloth diapers, you still have to empty them out in a toilet and then rinse them.
Right, yeah.
So like surely someone would have noticed after.
Well,
a
she
certain
might have had a
amount of time.
bathroom in,
Yeah.
in her bedroom. But still, that's crazy. That's crazy that she was caring for a child and no one knew.
I feel
She
like
was
without
17.
YouTube, she probably would have died because she wouldn't have had any idea what to do, which is even darker.
I mean, the animals figure it out, right?
Yeah, but we're not very good at.
I mean, you can.
We haven't been good at that stuff for thousands of years.
She probably would have been fine, assuming there was no complications. But like, I feel like once the baby's out, then you of course have the problem of like clipping the umbilical cord, and it's like, where do I clip on this? Where does this make sense?
Well, that's
to
what
clip?
YouTube did.
Yeah, that's what. So like, that's where you'd need some other guidance. And of course, once she got the infection,
Yeah.
that was a problem as well. I wonder if she used like dirty scissors or something, and maybe that's where she got it.
Could be, yeah. Well, there's probably a lot of like tearing that goes on, right?
It can, yeah,
And it wasn't disinfected.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
It do be that way.
Well, Krista, you are planning a hike, right?
Yeah, this weekend, 16
And,
miles.
You don't plan to get hopelessly lost, but if you do, I hope that you'll be more proactive than this guy. Although at the same time, it seems like this guy was fine the entire time. Am I understanding that correctly?
He was just slightly late.
So, but he didn't need help.
Well, he was like 12 hours late.
Yeah, he did not need help.
Ultimately, no.
This was an overreaching government system.
It might have been a family member who was scared.
Missing hiker ignored calls from rescuers because it was an unknown number. So for this hike, you have to submit an itinerary. And he did submit an itinerary. And he didn't report in. And then he got lost. And then he walked all night and ended up back on the trail by morning, but he went to the wrong trailhead where he parked his car. And then so he went somewhere else. And the rescuers kept calling him, and he did not answer because it was an unknown number. Because that is how badly regulators have failed.
I'm assuming then, so usually what you do when you go on any sort of hike, especially if you're going to be overnight, I don't know if he was overnight or not, but like, usually you leave your general location where you parked and everything with a family member, and then if you're not back by a certain time, they're usually the one, they'll try to call you, and then if they can't get hold of you, they call rescue services. Why didn't his family try to call him again? And why didn't the rescue services call the family and be like, hey, he's not picking up for us, can you guys try?
I don't know that the family was involved. I think with this place, because like Wendell said, you submit paperwork at the beginning, it automatically kicks off if you don't come back.
Yeah, the one park here that's like the tourist trap kind of park, but it has some short hiking trails. The park actually closes. And so like when you go in, if you go the long way, which is like a 2-hour walk, you're actually just supposed to be like, what's your first name and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you leave, it's
I know what
like,
you're talking about
what's
now.
your name? And then they just cross you off the list. And so it's like we're closing the park, and it's like, well, this guy never reported back. And it's just like,
Now to go find them, yeah.
Yeah.
Usually the place, if it's the same place, they also make you put down like the make of your car so they can go to the parking lot and like verify if you're still there.
yeah.
How much money are we wasting on that nonsense every year?
Well,
Search and rescue.
We should turn all that off.
the Rangers here, they only make about $16K a year.
Yeah,
so
they don't
it's
make
not
a
a
lot.
lot.
Yeah, but how many of those do we need the Rangers to keep
A lot
the
of
park
them-
safe.
A lot of them too, like at least for the search and rescue in this area, like a few counties over, a lot of them are volunteer.
Yeah.
So like they're not making anything.
But here, obviously, a lot of money was spent unnecessarily.
Yeah, absolutely. People should just be on their own if they're going to go into the woods. I mean, come on. That makes it more exciting, right?
It definitely makes the Bears more excited.
I just don't understand like why the family didn't try to call him again.
Because they hate him.
I guess.
And he had cell service the whole time, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I mean they didn't hate him enough to just leave him be. They called a rescue team, but they didn't try to contact him again after that.
Maybe the night before, like he had planned out his trail and he had a little map, and his wife went in the night before and erased part of it and like redrew it just to screw him up.
That's attempted murder.
Well, Pop-Tarts, I concur that plain Pop-Tart better than frosted Pop-Tart.
That's questionable.
No, I agree with that because it's too the
Right.
frosting is just too.
It's overwhelming. And you want to taste what the actual flavor of the fruit is, right? Which, at the best of times, is maybe somewhat close.
Yeah. Pop-Tart whole grain. This woman is suing Kellogg's for $5 million over Frosted Strawberry Pop-Tarts because she says the strawberry filling is not really strawberry enough.
Or if there is strawberry in there,
Okay.
it doesn't taste like a strawberry to her.
Oh, and it's missing strawberry nutrients and that kind of thing.
Yeah, because at that point, there's not much left of the original strawberry.
Yeah.
Maybe like a seed.
It's too artificial.
Has this woman ever processed a strawberry before? Like, they kind of naturally lose their flavor depending on if you cook them or not. If those are cooked even a little bit, even if they were not filled with other preservatives, like they would be different.
She says that might be true, but don't put strawberry flavor on the packaging if it doesn't taste like strawberries.
What does she want them to put?
She
Berry?
wants millions of dollars is what she wants.
Yeah.
It's going to get thrown out, but it's hilarious. And this one is just astonishing. I guess if you're going to do it, billionaires are the people that should do it, right?
Yeah.
Those cameras on the wall back there make me think she might be doing some kind of online thing. Though.
It's like Kitten Academy.
Baby Academy.
Russian woman, 24, welcomed 21 surrogate babies in just over a year.
It's easy to have 24 babies when you don't have to actually have the babies.
But, well, I mean, she probably has a team of nannies too. Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't, like, I like kids, but 24 little ones all at once, that would just be a level of exhaustion I can't even imagine.
4,000 euro a week just for the materials, not the people.
Just like diapers and food and
Right.
bottles and yeah.
Krista, she says that she has a goal that is higher than 24. Can you guess the number that she wants to terminate at?
30.
105.
So
Krista's freaking out.
I don't think she could remember that many names.
no. Well, like, what is she trying to own? Like an orphanage, or is she just wants that many kids?
I think, the guy's a billionaire, and I guess she's bored.
I mean, there's worse ways to spend your money, I guess, instead of like, just spending it on rent. Wait, are these surrogate children? Like,
They are paying women to take his sperm and have her children.
Okay,
They
that's
probably
way
put the
worse.
egg in too, right? That's how that works?
I think so.
Oh,
They
yeah.
implant the egg. So it's her babies, but she's not carrying any of them.
Yeah,
That's actually way worse. I was thinking more of like if it was an adoption kind of thing, that might not be the worst thing in the world.
I don't
Probably
know.
a pretty good way to spend your money.
I
But
thought maybe in one pic they looked a little multicultural, but maybe not.
This is a really interesting way to be the next Genghis Khan.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at them, I guess maybe those could all be her eggs.
that's crazy. Why not just? There's so many kids who need homes, and you have the resources to care for them. And you're breeding your designer kids instead. I could see doing that for one or two, but like, you want 100 kids, why not adopt some?
Those are going to be some confused kids.
Yeah,
This
they're gonna
week-
think their nannies are their parents.
This might be a great way to take over a country. It's like we're going to keep it in the family, and then they just
But isn't the problem with like those kind of big dynasties is that all the kids start fighting amongst themselves for status?
Oh yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, even split 105 ways, $1 billion is still a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can realize I can't talk about any of it. We've learned some interesting bat facts lately, or not bat facts, things that we were told couldn't possibly be true, and yet now have been admitted. And so the bat, once so vilified, is perhaps not responsible for our current situation, and the people of New Zealand maybe they're doing this to make up for it.
It's winning by quite a lot in a New Zealand Bird of the Year contest. I don't think bats are birds.
They are in fact not.
But they are cute. I just don't want them in my house.
They're cute when they don't have highly contagious.
Diseases, yeah.
Yeah.
Rabies scares the hell out of me because I hate being thirsty. That's how it kills you.
That you just go into a rage and your nervous system shuts down, and there's no way to counteract it once you reach a certain point. Not scary at all.
So it seems like the powers that be in New Zealand are not a big fan of the bat being the winner. They have tried to push how do you pronounce that?
The old Bodie McBoatface problem.
That's either of you care to take a shot at
I can't even see that.
Kakapow.
Kakapo or Kakapo?
I don't know.
All those accent marks, man. That's going to screw up a database. But it seems like the people in New Zealand, leaders are like, hey, this is a cool bird and it's all ours. We should. And the people are like, no, it's bat. It must be bat. I always love to include anything that has to do with the Wu-Tang Clan. And I'm excited that not only was this a possibility, but it's not a fighting game. It's going to be a RPG, which I hope is turn-based, although I guess action RPG would not be turn-based, would it? Less excited now.
Project Shaolin. Xbox may be working on a Wu-Tang themed action RPG led by BrassLion Entertainment.
Which Wu-Tang member would you choose to play in this game?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not super familiar with the Wu-Tang.
It's Ghostface Killer.
Oh,
That's the answer.
the correct answer, the
Yes.
only answer.
I saw a Wi-Fi network once named Wu-Tang Land.
And because
pretty
it was
solid.
a pun, you stored it
I did.
with all the other puns in the music storage.
Yeah, there's not much. The music storage has largely been overwritten. I remember bits and pieces, but I don't make an effort to remember anything there anymore.
Well, we see a lot of stories about police misconduct, and more, that police misconduct is breaking over into the online world.
It's amazing.
They don't know how to behave, especially when they're criticized.
Victorian anti-corruption watchdog reveals full extent of former police officers' offensive trolling. So they were looking for evidence of like serious corruption, and they uncovered a particular police officer who had no less than a half a dozen different online identities.
70.
70.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. 70 posts.
Oh, yeah. No, he had a whole suite of online identities that he would post various racist, homophobic slurs, complain about politicians. Very busy individual.
All in response to any criticism of the police. And the Victorian police have faced a lot of criticism lately because there are some laws in that country that are very unpopular.
Victoria, British Columbia?
I thought this was Australia.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Well, all the other stories are about Australia. Maybe the Victoria province.
I can't imagine that a Canadian would do this, right?
It's got to be.
There's people like this everywhere.
It's got to be Australia.
Look at any local news site. If they have comments in there,
yeah.
there's always someone like this.
AU.au.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Australia. So it's the lockdown laws, and people have been very vocal about those. And this guy felt like the best way to respond to that was with racism and homophobia.
As one does.
Just a race to the bottom all the way around.
Basically a Call of Duty lobby. That's how he operated his police work.
This is the most amazing funeral outfit.
It is. And as much as attractive as this girl is, and as much as I like pictures of attractive girls, I do think she maybe went a little too far.
It's a little sad.
A little too far.
It depends on her dad. If her dad was like Robin Williams and I think Robin Williams as a father would be okay with this, but I don't know who her father was.
I would say most likely not. But
Let's see the full dress.
Can't say for sure.
Influencer criticized for photo shoot at her dad's funeral. That's not the picture. Keep going.
Yeah. There's a lot of pictures.
There's a lot. Yeah.
A lot of pictures.
There you go.
This is, this shows the dress off the best.
Is that appropriate funeral attire? I question that. But it also looks like they're having the funeral at
It's probably like a church or
elementary
something.
school.
like a 49th Legion Lodge or something.
Well, this is in the UK. They're different. So, there's, but she also did some posing.
Oh, they can't see that. They're looking at us right now.
Right. Yeah. I'm getting ready for the reveal.
Yeah. The open casket posing.
Nice.
I don't know.
It's weird. I think what makes it maybe over the line is that she's doing it right in front of her father's casket.
But it's blocking him out.
Yeah, that's what's weird.
Well, maybe I don't know. So
I don't think her fashion choice is really relevant so much as posing in front of your dad's dead body, kind of weird.
If she grew up dirt poor and with nothing, and her family had nothing, and it was okay, at the funeral you can do something controversial and get a lot of traffic and make a lot of money, then the family would be yeah, that sounds great, do it.
But
she has now deleted her account.
She's already that, right? She was already an influencer.
Yeah, I don't know, but she deleted her account, so.
Yeah, I don't know if she was a huge influencer, but
at least she's capable of shame. At least we've learned that.
See, I don't know if she should have been ashamed, though. I don't know.
It is.
I don't think her dress was bad. I think the posing in front of the casket's a little tacky.
Yeah, but
it raises important questions about how we deal with death.
Yeah.
Because how we deal with death is not necessarily healthy.
That's true.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You could argue that like the affirmation of life is the response to death. But I feel like what was happening here was she was trying to capitalize on a death.
Well, but see, like,
it doesn't feel like a tribute to her dad so much as like just a way to show off herself and her outfit. Does that make sense?
I think that maybe, but also it could be like, if it was a situation where it's like, look, you could make a bunch of money live streaming the funeral, do it, because you might not have another opportunity, and that would be really beneficial for you, and that would be something,
You think that was his final wish?
I mean, it depends on what kind of person he was.
I could see that, but you're still going to face even if they ask you to do it, you're still going to face an incredible backlash from society.
Yeah, maybe, possibly, yeah. Yeah.
Also, the cleavage.
Yeah, well,
I understand what Chris is saying. Like, we shouldn't be slut shaming anybody. And if you want to, if you want to dress like that, I don't know why I would ever argue against it. Right? Pretty girl, why not dress like that? But at a funeral, there is something visceral that is triggered in me when I see that.
What if she was just, sheltered and innocent and had no idea, and like her handlers were like, "You should do this," and she's like, "Okay."
Right. The second day of being an Instagram influencer, you lose that.
That's probably true.
How many unsolicited penises does it take?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
If she had just taken this anywhere else, I think in the building, it wouldn't be a story on a news site somewhere.
The building that appears to be a community center or a school.
Yeah, like if she'd just taken it like against a wall or something, but just in front of the casket is kind of weird.
Drop ceilings.
What if this was her coping mechanism?
I guess we can't judge her, and yet we have.
Is that a healthy coping mechanism? I need likes and validation from people. Like, favorite, and subscribe.
I've not experienced the death of one of my parents yet, but you can sort of imagine it, and I can't imagine any scenario where I need to expose a shoulder and post to Instagram.
Honestly, I feel like I'd want to just like go dark on social media. Not that any of us post that much.
I don't even want to go to a funeral.
Yeah.
I mean, my way of dealing with that would be way better to do it alone. I don't need to be around any of those people because I don't like them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
certainly not my strategy.
Tell us how you deal with death below. Anything else?
That's the last
That's
one.
it? All right.